Part 2 about why my mom kicked me out when I was 16. So like I said, the guy was being super flirty with me, inviting me to the movies when my mom wasn't home and all that stuff. Well, then it led to more than just that. By the way, this guy did not have a job, so he was home with me 24/7. And I was doing online school. So we were in the house by ourselves, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. Anyways, like I said, it led to more and we started doing the nasty and stuff. Ew, yeah. Well, the one day after we got done doing the nasty in my mom's room, we had fell asleep. And yes, we did not have clothes on. Well, at 2 in the morning, I hear someone pounding on the bedroom door. And my mom worked night shifts. So we get up, he hurries up and gets dressed and tells me to hide under the bed. And he opens the door and it's my mom's sister. My sister literally lived in the apartment next door. And she was like, oh yeah, neither of you were answering the phone. So she wanted me to check on you guys. Like, where's Elena? And I'm still under the bed naked, like for part 3.
I'm currently 2 months pregnant, but my mother-in-law has clearly stated she is not happy for me and hates that I'm pregnant. She's been coming over a lot to cook for us, but I haven't been eating her food. Not because I don't like it, I'm just in a lot of pain and very nauseous. But she's always complaining about it. I've been taking a lot of vitamins for my pregnancy, and when my mother-in-law asked, I didn't think much of it. This past Sunday, she came into our house and stayed for hours. Everywhere I go, I see her looking for something. I ask what she's looking for, but she doesn't say what, so I walk away and give her privacy. The past few days, I've had really bad abdominal pain, upset stomach, headache, and nausea. So when I called my doctor, she asked if I was taking anything, and I said yes, vitamins. She asked me to bring them in. That's when she told me it wasn't vitamins, it was actually aspirin. I knew right away my mother-in-law was the one who switched them out. I can't believe it. My mother-in-law made me feel so sick and I almost miscarried if I didn't go see a doctor. I told my husband and he confronted his mom. She completely denied it and said she would never do anything to harm her unborn grandbaby. It's so clear that she replaced my vitamins and she's lying about it. I'm so upset and I feel like I'm not being safe with her. I have no trust and I want her out of my life. But my husband says we have no proof. When I graduated high school, I met a guy who was a refugee from the Middle East. We ended up dating, but I found out he was cheating on me, so I broke up with him. Later on, I found out I was pregnant. When I told him, he freaked out and wanted me to get an abortion, and when I told him no, he said he'd do everything in his power to make sure I lost the baby. Once he figured out I was keeping the baby, he tried his best to get back with me, but I denied him. That's when I found out that the girl he was cheating on me with also got pregnant. When I tried reaching out to her, she called me crazy. I just wanted to warn her to make sure she's okay. Over the years, he kept trying to come back for me and the baby, but I kept him at a distance. His other girlfriend reached out to me and told me he went to jail because he put hands on her. I tried to warn the girl that he cheated on me with that he was no good, but it wasn't until her third child that she finally saw his true darkness. She regrets meeting him and not listening to me, but then we found out he's engaged to someone back in his home country. We both tried reaching out to her, but she didn't want to hear any of it. We tried to tell her that he has 4 kids, 1 with me and 3 with someone else, but she didn't believe us. I know I've done my part for reaching out, but I still feel really bad for this girl and what her future entails. I don't know what I should do. I've been 100% financially independent from my parents since the day I graduated college. I have a sister who is about a decade older than me, and my parents promised each of us a set amount of money towards our weddings. My sister used this money to have a big, beautiful wedding, and now it's my turn to get married. But my parents have admitted that they gave away the money they had saved for my wedding to my sister. My sister, a mother of 1, had a series of health problems and had to freeze her eggs if she ever wanted to have another child. She didn't have the money and only had a few weeks before her hysterectomy, so she asked my parents for the $13,000, which they obviously gave her. I know I sound selfish for prioritizing my wedding over her fertility, but she was 36 when she got the diagnosis. There was no telling how long it would take for her health to recover, and it would be years before they could even afford supporting another infant. I knew she would never have the means to use those eggs before she was 40, and she has made it very clear that she wouldn't want to have an infant at that age. In my opinion, she acted in panic and wanted a safety net that she knew she would never use. But I'm still upset that now I won't be able to have much of a wedding because I've been counting on the funds my parents had promised. I'm not upset that they gave it to her, but I am upset that they gave it to her knowing nothing would come of it. They traded my wedding day for her brief peace of mind. So, am I overreacting? Am I the asshole? I was engaged to the love of my life, but my sister met up with me and begged me to break it off. She said I had to leave him because they were in love. And he was just too afraid to break up with me because he didn't want to hurt me or my family. When I confronted my fiancé about my stepsister's accusations, he straight up denied it. He said she's been trying to come on to him for some time and he never mentioned it because he didn't want to ruin our relationship. He begged me not to believe her and so we continue how we were. My stepsister grew resentful and made nasty comments about how I was forcing a man who didn't even love me to marry me because I had low self-esteem. A month later, I get a text from my sister. It's a video of her and my fiancé sleeping together in my bed and multiple screenshots of him telling her he loved her, how he wished she was the girl he was marrying, and how he hated that I wouldn't let them be together. I was devastated and angry but decided to move in silence. I went home, grabbed all my stuff, removed all my money from my joint account, and moved in with my dad. After that, I sent all the screenshots to my family and his. He tried getting back with me multiple times, but I ended up blocking him when I found out he proposed to my sister with the same ring he gave me. I left it behind. Now they're getting married.
Part 2. So I asked him if I could check his phone if I was really lying, and he just walked away. And he also just drove away. But later that night, we got into another argument and I asked him where he went. And it got really heated again, and this time he left for 2 days. And I was really worried when he got back, but then he smelled very weird. So I asked him where he was, and this time he answered, and you guys know what he said? At my sister's house, having a threesome with her and another guy that apparently he was seeing for a couple weeks now. So then I thought maybe it wasn't his mom that sent him the picture of her boob. So I stormed out of the house and sent him a text message saying that we were done. So the next day I asked him who else he was sleeping with while he was with me, and he mentioned his mom's name, my sister's name, a guy named Mike, and someone from my job. And I currently do not communicate with him or my sister. Storytime about how my husband accidentally told me that he was cheating on me. So just some background information. My husband and I got engaged 2 years ago. And this whole situation happened a month after we got married. So fast forward, it's a Sunday morning. Well, usually every week on Sunday, I clean the whole house. So I woke up, went into the bathroom to take my ring off, and I could not get it off. Mind you, I had gained a little bit of weight since my husband and I got engaged. Anyways, I tried butter, I tried soap, I tried everything, even oil. So after trying to get it off for an hour straight, my finger was 3 times bigger than it usually is. So at this point, I'm really scared that I'm going to have to get it cut off. Because 1, I didn't want to ruin it, and 2, it was really expensive. So I call my husband and he's like, "Oh, call your dad. Firefighters always know what to do." So I called my dad, and thank God he lived 5 minutes away because he drove over really quickly. Like for part 2. Part 2 of how my husband accidentally told me that he was cheating on me. So like I said, my dad lived 5 minutes away, so he just rushed over to my house. And we tried a few more things to get it off. We tried Windex, we tried the dental floss, none of it was working. So my dad told me that we were going to have to cut it off with pliers. So he comes over with the pliers, cuts the ring off. Well, a few days later, I had taken it to the same place that we got it to get the band fixed. Or replaced. While I was there, I decided to get it appraised. Just for insurance reasons. So a few days later, I go and pick up my ring, and when I get home, I look at the appraisal. It was not the same one that I had picked out in the store. It looked exactly like it, but there was like a $20,000 price difference. So right now, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not mad about the money part. I'm more mad that my husband lied to me. I was more upset about the fact that he had lied to me. So I had made dinner reservations for the next night, so that way I could hopefully bring up the conversation about it, like for part 3.
I worked at a jewelry store in a mall close to my community college, and while my time there was short, I have experienced one person returning an engagement ring. It was the week of Mother's Day, and he was the first person I was able to sell diamonds to since I had completed my diamond certification course, or whatever you call it. He told my boss and I that he wanted to propose to his girlfriend, who also happens to be the mother of his 3-year-old son. Being my first customer, I put extra effort to make sure we found the exact ring he wanted. After searching for hours, he picked out the diamond that was a specialty diamond to the store, kind of like how Kay's has a Leo diamond. We wished him luck and never saw him again until a month later. He walked into the store and asked to speak to my manager. They were talking for about 10 minutes, and my boss proceeds to grab his shoulder because it looks like he was about to cry. And then he started the engagement ring return. After he left, I asked my boss what happened. Come to find out, his fiancée had said yes, but then I guess guilt started to settle in. She told him she wasn't sure if his son was actually his. Worst part of it all is he helped raise the child from day one and even involved him in the proposal.